hello there, and welcome to Spoiler Piece Theater, the podcast that doesn't give a shit about spoilers. We just want to talk about the movies. My name is Dave Riedel. I talk and write about movies or whatever. I'm a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, and my pronouns are he, him.
And my name is Megan Kearns. My pronouns are she, her. I write and podcast for In Session Film. I'm a co-host of the Slashers podcast, a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, and a member of Gallica, the Society of LGBTQ Entertainment Critics.
Woo!
Yowza.
I was going to yell louder, but I didn't want to blow everybody's eardrums out. So, anyway.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. Hey, well, yeah, didn't want to blow your ears out either. Okay, so what's going on the show this week is we got a couple of movies to talk about. It's just Megan and me again. And over on Patreon. So we were trying to figure out what to do, and we thought, we'll do this, we'll do that. And then one of us said, we were talking about doing Meek's Cutoff last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever that was. Why don't we just do that? And so we did Meek's Cutoff, the Kelly Reichardt Western from 2010, starring Michelle Williams and Bruce Greenwood, and Will Patton and Zoe Kazan and Paul Dano. Is he in it too?
Yes, he is.
He is. That's right. It's a quiet Paul. It's not crazy Paul Dano. It's quiet Paul Dano.
I know, it's actually easy to miss him.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. You wish you'd do that in more movies. Anyway, so that's over on Patreon if you want to check that out. That would be delightful. Patreon.com/spoilerpiece. And on this week's show, we are talking, Megan's talking about two movies. I'm talking about one. We're talking about Rebuilding, which is the name of a movie, not just like a thing we're doing. And we're talking about The Secret Agent, which is the Brazilian movie that's gotten all kinds of accolades already this year. And I'm pretty sure we'll continue to get them. But you don't know what we think yet. So there you go. Anyway, let's start off with Rebuilding. This is it a drama?
Yes.
Yes,
it's a drama.
I mean, it looks like a drama.
I was like, is this a trick question?
No.
But yes, it is a drama.
This is written and directed by Max Walker Silverman. This stars Josh O'Connor. And here is, and Megan Fahey and Amy Madigan and other people. Amy Madigan, who you remember is so great in Weapons this year. Any Spray. Here is, much to Megan's chagrin, your one-sentence IMDb summary.
Oh, it's my nemesis.
After wildfires take his ranch, a cowboy named Dusty. Oh, perfect. Wildfires take his ranch, and his name is Dusty. Well, strike one. A cowboy named Dusty winds up in a FEMA camp, finding community with others who lost homes, including his daughter and ex-wife. So he just goes to the FEMA camp, and his ex-wife's like, "Oh, you're here," and he's like, "You're here."
No, that is the worst written sentence. This is why no one should be reading IMDb log lines. Exactly.
Well,
my crusade.
This is your opportunity to set the record straight.
Yeah, no, his wife and daughter are not waiting for him at the FEMA camp. And it's also not a FEMA camp. Anyway. Yeah, so the movie opens and the wildfires have hit, and Dusty, which you learn is his nickname, is not actually his
real name is Fire. Because dust blowing through the remains of the, on the nose. That's all I'm saying.
Anywho, you think that that's actually his name for much of the film. But then when he's doing a family tree with his daughter, that's when it's actually revealed that's not his name. His name's Jonathan or something. It's Jonathan Jr. I don't know. Whatever. Thomas Jr. Whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Someone's got a case of the giggles, and it's Dave.
Well, I was wondering, why can't their names ever be something like Aloysius, So.
Well, no, but I mean, I think that would actually be more on the nose, weirdly enough.
Yes,
but actually, it's a point of contention in the movie because when he introduces himself to a character played by Kaylee Reese, she says, "Is that a cowboy name?" So it's called, and he's like, "Yeah, I guess it is," because he is a cowboy, and he wears his his cowboy hat and he wears his boots and he dresses like a cowboy and he's a cattle rancher. And the film opens and he's selling off all of his cattle in an auction, and the house is burned down, the barn is burned out, like everything is just destroyed. There's nothing left, not a trace.
Yeah.
And he's bereft, and he's, he does not know, he's not sure what he's going to do. So his sister, that you don't see this on screen, but apparently his sister has offered him a place to live and some work in Montana. And this is set in Colorado, which is where Max Walker Silverman is from. And also his first film, A Love Song, was filmed in Colorado. So he doesn't want to go, but he also is pretty set on that he's going to go, because the only work he can get is a government job where he's basically holding up a stop sign for crossing for traffic while they do construction on this road. Mm-hmm. And Megan Fahey they were together. They were childhood sweethearts or childhood friends, and then like teen sweethearts, and they've separated. And she's moved on. She has a new boyfriend, and he seems really nice. And she lives in the house with her mom, played by Amy Madigan, and his ex-wife is played by Megan Fahey. And they have a daughter, Callie Rose. And Dusty hasn't really been in her life of late. And you don't really know the exact details, but that's very much the vibe that you're getting, that he's been busy working or whatever dumb excuse he's given for not being a more present father. But he shows up at his ex's house, and because he's in the area, and she's like, oh, actually this is perfect timing because my mom has a doctor's appointment, and Robbie, that's her boyfriend, he's like, he has to work and I have to work too. So, and he's like, I can't really take Callie Rose right now. And she's like, no, you'll take her. It'll be great. And so he has her stay with him in the trailer, because it's a small camp, but there are different trailers that people have. And there are about like 7-9 people living in these trailers. There's like 4 or 5 of them. And he quickly learns that they're all a community. They cook together. Their kids play together. They come together. They help each other. One of the guys is a plumber, and he like helps people out with their plumbing. And when his daughter, Callie Rose, needs Wi-Fi to do her schoolwork, he's like, I don't have that. And he's like, I'll take you to the library so we can get the Wi-Fi. And she's like, oh, why don't you ask one of your neighbors? And he's like, no, they're not, I don't want to bother anybody, and they're not real neighbors. And he keeps telling her that throughout the film, like, no, they're not real neighbors. This isn't a real house. But she's thriving here. Like, she's just delighted to be reconnected to him. She decorates the trailer with pictures and with glow in the dark stars, and she becomes friends with another girl there, and she's having the time of her life. Like, she just loves this, and she loves learning about horses because he teaches her horseback riding, and she loves being around him, and she starts wearing cowboy boots too. But she also wants to see the devastated farm, and he takes her, and she's destroyed, and she's like, I want to go home. I don't want to be here. And so this is basically the film. The film is Dusty trying to get his life back together. And he tries to go to the bank to get a loan, but he can't, because it's like I can't remember what level of scorch it is, but basically nothing will grow for like 7 to 10 years. Because he starts telling like, oh, I could get some goats. I could have a cheese operation, while I'm trying to get some cows. And the guy at the bank is like, no, you can't do anything. He's like, there is no house to borrow the farm against, and there is no farm to borrow the house against. So we can't help you at all. And so meanwhile, Amy Madigan, his mother-in-law, his ex-mother-in-law, is having some health problems, but it's a very understated movie. So you don't know exactly what she's got going on. But she then dies, and it's extremely sad. And yeah, she doesn't like just up and die. I'm kind of like skipping ahead because I'd be getting into a lot of the weeds with like a lot of details, but no, she's present in the film, but then she's present in Callie Rose's life, and she gives advice to Dusty, and she's a lovely mom to her daughter, Callie Rose's mom and Dusty's ex. And Ruby, that's her name, Ruby. Anyway, so then Ruby's mom, Amy Madigan, dies, and she leaves her belongings she has like a handwritten will, in essence, and she leaves the house to Ruby, and she has $10,000. It's her whole life savings in a credit union, and she's like, Callie Rose is going to get half, and Dusty is going to get the other half, and that's to go to whatever home he wants. And meanwhile, he's no longer, eschewing the people in the trailers. He eats with them at dinner time. They sit around the campfire. He listens to people's stories. And there's this really beautiful scene where everyone's going around the table and they're talking about like what they've lost, like the belongings that they miss. And one guy says that his mom drew him a comic book when he was a kid and made him the hero of it. And they'd go on adventures in this comic book, and he really misses that. And this older lesbian couple are there, and they miss their photos that they had. And one of the women says she had pressed flowers since childhood. And then Callie Rose is like, Dad, you say now. And he's like, no. And then they're like, no, please say what you miss. And he has this really kind of ineffable answer where he's like, these random things will pop into my head, like Callie Rose's artwork from kindergarten, or like my mom's fiddle. And he's like, and then there are all these other things that I've already forgotten that I won't remember. And I miss that. Like, I miss the things I've forgotten already or something. And it's just kind of this lovely answer that's also really sad. And so he's become this community with these people, and then they are all getting kicked out because the funding has run out and it has to go to other people who are suffering from wildfires all over. Yeah. And so he's upset, of course, and everybody else is upset. And Callie Rose is mad, and she's like, oh, great, everything can go back to normal now. But she's like a lovely little kid. Like, her mad is just so sad because she's like the wisest and sweetest like kid ever, but she doesn't feel like obnoxiously precocious or anything like that. She just feels like a nice, sweet kid. Yep. And so then he has this, and I knew where this was going long before it did, but he has this epiphany, and he's like, I've got this $5,000. So he says to the female lady who's like showing up to like basically get them out, he's like, what if I buy all these trailers? And she's like, well, you can't stay on the land. And he's like, no, I know, I have land. He's like, I've got tons of acres of land. So he makes a proposition to everybody, and he's like, hey, if I buy these trailers, you all can stay on the land. And Kaylee Reese is like, her character is like, well, when is it going to burn again? And he's like, I don't know. I don't know. He's like, but I don't think another wildfire will come through here in like 10 years, maybe 20.
There's nothing to burn down.
Right. And he's like, but I don't know. There's no guarantee. And she's like, okay, well, what do we do if it happens again? And he's like, well, I guess we just, we pick ourselves up again and we do it all over again. And so almost everybody says yes. One couple is like, no, we're gonna go on the road and we're gonna find our own way. And then there's a guy who's like been kind of a recluse that everybody leaves food for, and he doesn't ever talk, but he like kind of waves like a thank you. And they go to tell him what's happening, and he's already packed up and gone. But everybody else agrees to it, and so they all pack up the trailers and they drive them down to his house, or well, not his house, but his land. And they set up a little kind of commune on the land. And Ruby, the ex-wife, comes over and she's like painting things. And he and Callie Rose are painting the trailer. They're painting it this shade of blue that was his mother's favorite shade, which was the barn. Was painted that. And that's it. And that's the movie. And it is... I'm so sad you didn't see it, Dave, because it's so lovely.
So up my alley.
And I mean, yeah, I was like, it's so up my alley. So sure. Yeah, I think it's up your alley too. It's such a beautiful and quietly lyrical and slowly unfurling film. And I am obsessed with Max Walker Silverman's first film, A Love Song. It is beautiful and wrenching in the most understated way possible. And it's just gorgeous. It's a lovely film. And this, I was so excited to see this because I loved the first film so much. And this film is gorgeous too. And I just was sobbing and sobbing and sobbing.
Oh, I just
And
realized
it's
the Love
lovely.
Song is the one with
Wes Studi and Dale Dickey. Yes. And it is the most beautiful, restrained film with all this depth and complexity of emotions in just this really subtle way. And this is no exception. This is like that too. And it's just great. And Josh O'Connor gives an excellent performance. He is very understated. I've never seen him quite so understated. And he gives a great performance in, we talked about Kelly Reichardt on the Patreon, and Evan and I talked about The Mastermind several weeks ago, and maybe a month ago. I don't know when it was. It was a while ago. But time has no meaning to me. But anyway, and we talked about because Josh O'Connor stars in that, and that's a great performance too. And this feels kind of in the same vein in that it's like an understated performance. But that one, he's like really bumbling and like a fool. And this one, he's not a fool. It's just he's really holding on to this dream of his former life. And he talks really tenderly about how he loved his life. He loved taking care of the cows, and he loved kind of the daily chores. And he can't reconcile for much of the film that that's no longer his life, and that his life is different, and that's okay. It's okay to change. It's okay to adapt. And actually he'll be a better human and a better father if he does. And it's really beautiful. And it's all about, and I'm obsessed with Kaylee Reese. I love her in the latest season of True Detective, Night Country. And she's been in a few films, but I need to watch all of them because I'm obsessed with her. And I think she just gives a great performance here. Very kind of lived in, very naturalistic performance. And I love it. And Amy Madigan is, you mentioned Weapons, and it's funny because she's my number one best supporting actress pick for the year.
Yeah.
And because I think she's so excellent in Weapons, and she is excellent here too in a completely different role. This, like, it would be such a great double feature in a weird way because she's so like kind and loving and nurturing to like everyone. And even when Dusty's being a ding dong and he's like going to move away and she's like, oh, you can't get work here. And she doesn't say it in like this like nasty condescending way, which would to be totally understandable if she did. But she's just kind of saying it in this like gentle, like kind of maybe slightly nudging way. Like, look what you have here. You have a life. You have a daughter who loves you. But instead of saying that really overtly, she's saying it in many less words. But anyway, this is a beautiful film. I adore it. I love it. It's so incredible. Oh, made me feel all the emotions. It's wonderful.
Good. I mean, I kind of feel like maybe I should just watch it after the show.
Mm-hmm. I think you should. It's great.
It's also nice that I feel like Amy Madigan has had there's like a little Amy Madigan renaissance right now over the last 3 years.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
She's so good. She's always been amazing. And it's so lovely to see that renaissance. I agree. And Megan Fahey, I know you really like her. She's really good in this too. Really good.
Megan Fahey reminds me of a young Michelle Pfeiffer.
I could see that.
In the looks department. She doesn't sound like her.
No. But yeah. But I'm not thinking about her looks. I'm thinking about her acting abilities, and she's incredible.
I have nothing to compare it to this role.
Well, you've seen her in other films,
I have,
but yes. And Callie Rose, the little girl who plays her, Lily Latour, is really incredible too. And we talk a lot about child performances and how easily they can go awry.
Yeah.
And she is just so good here. She feels just real, and I love that. And I am pretty sure that that some of the people who are in the trailers in this community are not professional actors. And I don't know that for certain, but I think they are not professional actors. And if so, they're woven in incredibly well. And I loved hearing their stories. And even if they are professional actors, they're great. I loved hearing the character stories. But it was just, I think it's really fascinating how Max Walker Silverman's two films, both A Love Song and Rebuilding, both are about homeowners who are living in mobile homes, and here is how they've built a lovely community. And it's so great to see people leaning on each other, and it's in this beautiful communal space. And it feels so nourishing and healing. And we really need more spaces like that. And, I went recently, there was a food drive and a fundraiser I went to at a bar in Orlando. And the fundraiser was to raise money for immigrants who are detained and arrested and kidnapped by ICE. And there was also a food pantry drive for people who are struggling because of the cuts to SNAP benefits. And I was overwhelmed with the amount of people there and the amount of produce. And it just was incredible. And it kind of reminded me of that, that's on a bigger scale, but seeing something like that here in this lovely community, it's that's what we need to be doing. We need to be coming together and helping people, in these dire times. And it was just so beautiful. I love it. I love this movie. It's great.
Good. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it now. Well, I mean, I was looking forward to seeing it before, but life got in the way.
Life does.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't let his goofy to you name Dusty get in the way of that.
Hey, Dusty, what are you doing this weekend? I'm building a community. Okay. So anyway, our next movie, our last movie of the night, is The Secret Agent. This is a Brazilian movie. It is getting, I think, what's his face? Moura. Why can't I remember the lead
Wagner
actor's
Moura?
name?
It's Wagner Moura.
Thank you. Win the
You're
best.
welcome.
He won whatever the acting award is at Cannes this year for this, and the first Brazilian actor, I think, to win it. And this movie takes place in Brazil in 1977 at a time. Now, I don't know enough about that. This movie does assume. It doesn't hold your hand about the history of Brazil.
No, it doesn't.
So it drops you right in, and you can pick up what's going on in context, but it's another one of those that's kind of dismissive. It's a movie in which there is corruption everywhere, and the people who do the good things and stand up for themselves are targeted. So here is your one sentence. Hold on, let me count the sentences here. Your one sentence IMDb summary. In 1977, a technology expert flees from a mysterious past and returns to his hometown of can't pronounce the word in search of peace. He soon realizes that the city is far from being the refuge he seeks. Yes, that is true.
Wait, what's the word you couldn't pronounce? Are you talking about the city?
The name of the city. Well,
it's Recife.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this is Portuguese, I think, is, to me, one of the most impenetrable languages, because you'll see somebody's name come up on screen and you swear to God they're not saying that thing. And I think of Portuguese as a combination of Spanish and Russian. That's what it sounds like to me when
I have to tell you, that's hilarious that you say that, because I said that to a former coworker of mine who spoke Portuguese, and she was Portuguese. And I was like, it sounds like now, and Brazilian Portuguese is very different than Portuguese.
Right.
But I was like, I said that. I was like, it sounds like Spanish and Russian. And she thought I was crazy. And so to hear you say that, I was like, I'm not alone.
It's because of all the zhuzh sounds and things like that.
Yes.
And I know lots of people who speak Portuguese, and every time they do it, I'm just like, oh, Russian? No, Portuguese. So anyway, this is a long, surprisingly quiet political thriller.
Yeah, it's a slow burn.
It's a slow burn, but that last half hour, oh boy. Now, I say that last half hour. This movie is 2 hours and 41 minutes long. But it's really, it's fairly straightforward. You've got this college professor, and he's running his department, which is some kind of technological something or other. They're developing an electric car. They've developed a tanning machine, like a leather tanning machine. And you learn this is all sort of out of, this is one of those movies where the timeline jumps back and forth. But you learn that a board member, it's a public university, a board member is coming to visit, and he's some big swinging dick industrialist asshole from Rio. And Marcello. I just saw this. I should remember his name. Is immediately suspicious of him. And in fact, not just suspicious, says, when he's being interviewed by, he's underground and he's being interviewed by somebody who's trying to help him. And she asks him, what was your impression of, whatever his name, of Enrique Giraud when you met him? And he's like, he's a fucking piece of shit. And his son was a fucking piece of shit. And she's like, from the moment you met him, he's like, yeah. And
yeah, he also says, like, I'm not a violent man, but I want to beat him to death with a hammer. Like, wow.
And then the other person in the interview says, you don't know how to fire a gun, do you? And he says, no, but I know how to hit someone with a hammer.
Yeah, I know. I like how we come back to the hammer.
Yeah. So sort of out of time, what you learn is that Marcello and his wife Fatima were she was murdered by them, right? I mean, that's the implication, is it not?
I'm pretty convinced, yes.
Yeah. The industrialist board member or whatever, it comes in and basically shuts down the university department, and is he's going to steal their leather tanning technology. He's going to send everybody else to different universities or wherever they can get work. He's going to, there's some kind of offhanded mention of, you'll be, not taken care of, because that makes it sound like he's going to kill them. He's only going to kill the one who really pissed him off, which is Marcello and his wife. And like, you find out one of the other professors who was also like a brilliant, person. And he also speaks down to them because they're from the north of Brazil and he's from the south. And I don't know this about Brazil. I guess, people from down south think people from the north are fucking hayseed, cottonmouth, backass motherfuckers.
Yep. I only learned that from another movie, but anyway, we'll get into that.
Yeah. And this guy is just, imagine certain politicians, contemporary politicians, and it's kind of what this guy reminds me of without being quite so blustery. And so Marcello and his wife go to dinner with him and his son, who is an even bigger piece of shit, which is hard to believe. And the industrial, he just spends the entire dinner just insulting Marcello and his wife. And then Marcello, of course, is not really having any of this. He's been pushing back the whole time because he's not some, shrinking violet or whatever. And he finally, Enrique mentions this. I can't remember exactly what the invention is, but Marcello says, well, I own that patent, so sorry. And, Enrique has been calling him a communist and, oh, you're a communist because you take public money and, et cetera, et cetera. And he's like, well, no, actually, blah, blah, I own that patent. Oh, so you're a capitalist and you're stealing from, it's like, you can't can't win. This motherfucker has like an angle for everything. And then Fatima, she has excused herself to go to the bathroom, and she comes back out, and she's telling this guy where to get off. And then Enrique's like, "You need to watch your woman." And it's just like, oh my God. I mean, I know it's the 70s. I know we're supposed to hate this guy, but I just want to reach through the screen. And by the way, the acting is so good. You want to reach through the screen and strangle this asshole, you know?
Yeah, he's slimy and disgusting.
And he's just like, my father was Italian. You have no idea what I'm capable of. And it's just like, well, I kind of do, because you're sort of just laying it all out. But, clearly you're not nearly as smart as you think you are, but you do have a lot of muscle. So whatever. So anyway, Fatima ends up dead. Do they already have their son then? I can't remember.
I mean, yeah, because if she's dead, yes.
Well, I didn't know. I don't know. No, what I mean is I didn't know how many years he was running. I had forgotten what the timeline is, and I remember now that this all happens in 1977. So they must have had the boy. They must have
Fernando.
Yeah. They must have stashed him away with her parents already, and then she ends up dead, and he is driving from. He was like hiding out in Rio, but he's driving back up to his hometown in the north, Recife, to meet some people who have like an underground network to help him. He's also trying to find evidence of his mother's identity, because you find out later from his son, from Fernando, when he's an adult, that, this is just, Fernando does actually lay it out in pretty stark terms, which is sort of refreshing. But basically, the bulk of the movie is Marcelo trying to find evidence of his mother's existence, because he was born when she was 14 and his father was 17. And she was, as Fernando says later, when he's an adult, she was an enslaved woman. And, my grandfather was from a rich family, and, she was basically enslaved by their family, and et cetera, et cetera. And there's the third timeline in the present, where there is a university student translating all of these tapes, all these recordings that were made of Marcelo talking to all of his handlers and things like that. And she has become so personally involved in the she's had to like stop and restart several times because she's found it so emotional, and she goes and she finds Fernando as an adult. And so then there's in the middle, there's there's, quiet creeping around, and then there's cat and mouse, and there's a corrupt police official and his two henchmen that he calls his sons. And then there's this like dismembered leg that was found in a shark that they put, it's so there's this very strange, surreal comedy break at about the 2-hour mark about this leg attacking people because the police, take it and throw it in the water to get rid of evidence. But then it reanimates by itself and starts attacking people on like this. You think it's like a gay hangout, but it turns out it's just attacking. I mean, it is a gay hangout, but it's also attacking every couple that it comes across. And it's like, what the fuck is this? And then you realize that a couple of the other characters in the movie are reading a tabloid story about the leg that washed up on the beach. And it's like, where the fuck did this come from?
I mean, I was going to say, if you've seen Bacurau, which is a weird Western co-directed by Kleber Mendonça Filho, it's very strange and very gory. So it kind of was not a surprise when I saw that happening, but it is weird, especially, if you haven't
seen Bacurau.
Okay, well, there you go.
Well, because you mentioned it, and so I clicked on his name, and I'm watching the trailer, and I'm like, I've seen this for sure.
So that has some surreal moments. So I was not surprised to see some surrealism pop up here.
Yeah, well, having forgotten that was his movie, yes, I was. I mean,
surprise!
it's not really that far a jump considering the truly broad comedy with the whole leg thing is broad because it's embedded in this shark's gut, and you think, oh, well, this is going to be like, oh, some murder case that they've got to know, and then it turns into this kind of strange farce about the professor trying to get the leg out of the shark, and then the two henchmen cops carrying it around, and it's an interesting B story.
That is for sure.
I've kind of given the broad strokes of the plot because it's fairly dense, and it's long. Am I leaving anything out, really?
I mean, yes, but there's so many details, so of course you have to. Like, you can't cover everything. I think the thing that's the way the movie starts is interesting in that
yes,
if you haven't read the summary or logline or premise or anything, which I did not, so I'm going in not knowing really much at all, and Marcello, which is, he has two names in this because he's also, is it Armando?
Yeah, it's his real name.
Yeah, Armando is his real name. Yeah, so he's driving and he goes to this gas station and he's talking to the attendant who runs it, and he's like, what's going on over there? And then the camera shows there's just a dead body lying on the ground with flies under newspaper.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yikes. But again, you're absolutely right. The movie does drop you in and does not, it definitely assumes that you know the history of the corruption and the coup d'etat that happened in, I believe it was 64, and the military dictatorship that ran from like 64, 65 to 84, 85. So, which is horrifying, obviously. But yeah, but I think those are all the things. I mean, then there's also there's the assassins, and then they recruit that other assassin,
like a sub-assassin who's like a fucking ruthless motherfucker, it turns out.
They insult him and saying you're asking for more money because you're like an animal hauling, pounds of sugar bags. Yeah. And and so that guy gets the other.
Yeah.
He gets
what happens to the older assassin? Do we ever find out what happens to him? He's just on the beach answering the phone.
Out on the beach.
Yeah.
I think that was it.
Because that was it. They farmed out the work to the other guy, and they're going to keep their, 56,000.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, one of the assassins dies because the guy who got insulted, the ruthless one, murdered him in the barbershop. So
yeah, which
there's that.
I mean, the one sort of I don't know how unfortunate it is because this is all done actually very well. I think this movie was beautiful to look at.
Yes.
I mean, I was really kind of amazed at the way, I'll get back to the story beat in a second. Really kind of amazed how they were able to make like the architecture and things like that sort of like recede into the background as kind of like dull, storm beaten, whatever. But then you have every car on the street is bright blue or yellow.
Yes, so vivid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which was just like, this is a fascinating choice, Anyway, but getting back to that story beat, I was going to say that I feel like the one unfortunate thing, and I don't really even think this is a really a negative thing, it is kind of a predictable story. I thought.
Okay.
But I don't really think that actually takes anything away from it.
Yeah.
Because it's still pretty compelling.
Yeah, I was gonna say I rarely think of that as a negative, and I'm not. You obviously are saying that's not, and that's not how you intended it. But yeah, so I don't often think about like, oh, is this a predictable story? Because I'm like, if it is, okay. If it's done well, I don't really care.
Right.
So, and this is done so well, but it is very, very dense. And so what I was saying before is, I realized I didn't finish my thought before. Yeah, this very much just drops you in
Right.
the middle of the story and goes from there. And it does move back and forth in time. I mean, it's interesting though, thinking about your statement about this being predictable, because you're right. I have to say though, I don't know if I would call it predictable or inevitable. And because to me, that's how it felt. It felt like a freight train coming and you're never going to get out of the way. But yet I still kept hoping that Marcelo Armando was going to get out. And because he's been so smart and so kind to everyone, but he's been really like when the ruthless assassin comes into the ID station and is asking, and he's like asking his real name, and one of the workers is like, nobody's here by that name, that's not him. And then he calls out his name and he doesn't turn around, but he does stop. But he's trying to keep moving forward and not be phased, and he's really smart about everything. And then he enlists the cops to kind of like, you know, get the guy so we can get him out of the way, but then the ruthless assassin murders them. But anyway, when we finally find out the fate of Marcelo Armando, and you see his shot body in the newspaper, I got to tell you, it was a fucking gut punch, because even though I knew that's where the story was going, I kept hoping beyond hope that that's not where it was going to end. And so it just felt so emotional, and I was just like, God damn it. Like, yeah. So I think it goes back to your point that the story is told so well.
Yeah. And I think that's a clever and, I think it was a clever and, I don't mean respectful. That's not what I mean. They didn't kill him on screen.
Yeah.
You know, I think that was a good choice, because we all knew what was going to happen, and we all knew it was going to be horrible. And so then to see it as a part of the history that this graduate student is uncovering, makes a lot more sense. By the way, this movie explains so little that the first time they cut to the grad student, like doing her transcription of the cassette, I'm like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta tell you, I think you're supposed to. I think that's the intention. You're supposed to be like, who the fuck is this? What time period are we in? What's going on? You know?
Yeah, and it's so you know, the office that they're in is contemporary, and you realize pretty soon that okay, they've got computers, and they're like, all right, we're now in the present or the not too distant past.
Yeah.
And then Flavia is talking to the other woman there about which cassette she's listening to, and then you're like, okay, they're transcribing. And then we're like, okay, this is all political intrigue, so it makes sense that a lot of this stuff was recorded. And you know, but until then, I don't know if you've really even seen the cassette tapes until, I don't know if you see one until you don't see one. They mention that the elderly woman who's hiding him out, whose name Donna, she's great. I wish she was in more of the movie.
She is great.
She's basically like funneling refugees through this apartment building in Recife, and kind of like telling them, you know, you're going to go meet this person, and he's going to give you this money, and then you're going to go over here, and he's going to have a job for you, and you're going to be able to hide out there. And so she's that person. She's got a two-faced cat, which is the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Oh my God. Yeah, but I like how they have two names.
Yeah. And then the first time, though, that you see an actual cassette recorder is when Marcelo meets, I think her name's Elza, who's kind of she's like a freedom fighter / lawyer / anti-Brazilian government thorn in their side person.
Yeah, which is funny because that's her fake name too. And because everybody has fake names, nobody's using their real name, which makes it that much more difficult for Flavia when she's trying to decipher who's who. And her her colleague, whoever, the student colleague who's also transcribing, has kind of given up. Like, she's watching animal videos, she's moved on, and Flavia is still like obsessed with this story and wants to figure out what's going on and the fate of everybody. But you're right, when he meets with Elsa, that's when you see, because he stops the cassette and the recording of their interview, and then she starts it again, and then she's like, I have to go to the bathroom, and she stops, and then it cuts to the college students.
Right.
And it's like, wait, what?
And then it picks up again when she gets back from the bathroom and hits record.
Yes. Yeah.
By the way, is the movie that Marcella's father-in-law is showing, is that The Omen?
Yes, it is The Omen.
That's what I thought.
Yes, definitely The Omen.
Does Damien ride the little tricycle down the...
He fucking does. Yeah. And then she goes over the balcony. Yeah. Something we haven't talked about is the very, very end, and how you see Wagner Moura again as an adult.
Fernando.
Yeah. And because Flavia goes to Recife and to visit family members, and then she meets up with him and tries to ask him questions about what happened.
Right. And he was so little.
Yeah.
That he eventually says that I have to tell you, I've been telling you all these stories and talking about my father. He's like, I don't have any memories of him. It's like that thing where, somebody tells you the same story over and over. So you finally develop your own memory based on that story. And I have to tell you, that scene where they're just talking to each other after she's donated blood, I found it heartbreaking,
Yeah.
Really moving. And I thought Wagner Moura was good, but I thought in that scene, I'm like, this is an entirely different character with an entirely different, his face moves differently.
Yes.
This is really the sign of superior acting, that you've taken, you've spent the entire movie playing one character, and then for one scene, you're playing a different character. And it's completely different manner of speaking. Well, same accent, but completely different manner of speaking and body language and all that stuff. And I just thought that his work in that scene was so touching, Yeah,
I don't think
you don't love him. I know.
No, that's actually not what I was going to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
No, what I was going to say is I actually was not enamored with his performance in that scene. I was enamored with Flavia's performance in that scene. I could not get past, I don't like a dual role like that. And I don't like when an actor plays their child and themselves. It doesn't work for me. So it really took me out of it. You're absolutely right. I think it's excellently acted. And this has actually made me reconsider Wagner Moura. I think I just can't stand Narcos. I think it's a shitty show. And although I do love Pedro Pascal, and he was always the best on that show. But I don't like Wagner Moura in that. And I also didn't like him in that Netflix movie with Ana de Armas. Which now I can't think of the name of it. But anyway.
Right. Yeah. There's somebody else in that too. It's not Chris Evans, is it?
Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, I think that's a great scene. I could not get past it. And maybe it's just a me thing, but I wish they'd cast somebody else. I understand why they didn't, but I wish they had cast somebody else. I think for me, it would have been a more impactful scene. But I love that you had that experience. I wish that had been my experience. I really do.
Yeah. And I see your point of view, but I think that, you got this character is, basically in one scene. I mean, it's a couple scenes technically because they change locations, but it's basically one scene. And, if you just want to establish immediately, oh, this is his son before you even say his name. You can do it that way.
Yeah, it's a choice.
Now here's the thing. I didn't love Flavia's performance.
Oh, okay. So, well, I think that's interesting.
I think we're on opposite sides of that.
I know. I think we are. Yeah.
There was something else we were on opposite sides of with Meek's Cutoff. What was that? I don't remember. Go listen to Patreon and you tell us.
Yeah, but no, I think you're spot on about Wagner Moura's performance. I don't think for me it's not an issue with his performance.
Sure.
Because I'm watching it and I'm saying to myself, he's doing everything right. He is absolutely differentiating himself from his previous character. And you're right, the cadence is different, the body language is different, everything. He has done everything possible to differentiate and still give a fantastic performance. I think it's just I don't know. I think it's just a me blockage that I just can't. I couldn't stop thinking about, but this is Marcelo.
Yeah.
This isn't Fernando. So it's a me thing. It's not anything to do with his performance, because his performance is excellent. Excellent here. So good, in fact, that it has made me reconsider him, and then I need to watch other things he's in.
It's a really understated performance.
Yes.
Which is interesting because when he plays Fernando, that's an understated performance.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. But in a different way.
Yeah. I was really, this held my attention a lot more than just well-made movies are well-made movies. And, I had prepared myself to watch this. I made the mistake of not quite getting in the Kelly Reichardt mindset for Meek's Cutoff, which we talk about over on Patreon.
Yes.
But for this, I was like, all right, it's 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's in Portuguese. It's a political thriller. You're probably going to have to pay attention. And you do have to pay attention because if for no other reason, there are a lot of names in this movie.
Oh my God. And everybody has a double name.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot to remember and to take in. And you're right, it's jumping back and forth in time constantly. Yeah, it's dense. It's very dense. It's a dense story. There's dense political undercurrents. And yeah, what I really love about this is Bacurau is one of the most rage-filled movies I've ever seen, and I love it, and I'm obsessed with it. I think it is an excellent, excellent film, and there's so much about racism. That's the movie where I learned about the North and the South and the racism and the colonialism. And so I think it was that movie anyway, but it's so filled with fury and such a scathing denouncement of colonialism, and I love that. And I love that this is doing that too in a very different way. But again, it is such a critique of dictatorships and fascism and oppression and how that just drives people underground and how horrifying that is and terrifying. And but it's doing it with such vivid visuals and excellent acting from the supporting characters to Wagner Moura to everybody, except maybe for not Flavia. But yeah, so I think I just think this is a really incredible film. I think it was really great.
Yeah. Now, it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Warranted?
I
can't believe
sure.
I'm talking about Rotten Tomatoes. What the fuck did I even ask you that for? But please, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny, but you're kind of talking to the wrong person on that front, because I despise grading films.
I do too.
I don't like doing it. I hate it. I get why people do it. I do. So no shade to anybody who does it. No shade at all. But for me, I think it's such a reductionist way of looking at film. I don't
absolutely
like it. And so yeah, sure, it's warranted. I mean, I think it's a great film.
Well, the thing that's interesting let's just talk about Rotten Tomatoes for a second. I think the only time that Metacritic or Rotten Tomatoes or whatever you want to use, I think the only times those things are ever really useful is when something is either universally loved or universally loathed. I think, when you get into 65, 75, 85%, it's like, well, that's just such a complete, and look how many reviews you have. You've got 100 reviews and, you've got 64%. That means that if you break it down, just if you know how percentages work, for every 64 people who liked it, there were 36 who didn't. That's not bad. That'd be the fucking best baseball season you ever had, you know? Like,
I'll have to take your word on it because I don't think about baseball that often anymore. And not that I was thinking about it very much before, but no, you're statistically speaking, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think the thing of it is too is that it's not a good metric anyway, even if you were grading and ranking movies, because, and actually weirdly enough, I like ranking movies. I don't like grading them. But if you're grading them, because it's not like it's giving an average, just like, yeah, this is good, yeah, this is bad. It's just, again, it's, I don't know, it's like reductionist within reduction anyway.
yeah. It's bad.
But I am kind of surprised that there aren't any detractors, only because it's so dense and because of the way it moves back and forth in time. I could see that being annoying to somebody, I guess. But I think it's great.
Yeah. I don't know. It's I think this is one of those movies, like, strangely enough, you're either on board with it or you're not. It really does surprise me also that there hasn't been somebody who's like, fuck this, you know? It just so happens that, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
It hasn't opened in theater. Like, it's opening, you know, this week. So maybe there will be, you know, as we get closer to the release date and once it opens.
I'm sure among, you know, regular audience members, the plebes, that there will be some who are like, I don't think the popcorn rating will be, you know, 65 while the critics rating is 100. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, this does, again, similarly to Meek's Cutoff and kind of similarly to Rebuilding, this is a film that demands your attention in a very different way, but it is the slowest of the slow burns. And then once it ignites, I mean, it's fucking nuts. I mean, people are getting shot in the face, shot in the legs, like faces are peeling off. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, those shooting deaths at the police station are, I was just like, the one who gets shot in the eye, I was like, I have never seen a movie eyeball shot like that ever. Wow.
I love it.
You know?
So good.
And I like how the other guy, when he gets shot, he looks surprised that he got shot.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway. All right. So let's do a recap because why not? You would absolutely recommend Rebuilding, it sounds like.
Oh my God. Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay. And then I would certainly recommend The Secret Agent. Yourself?
Absolutely. Yeah, right. I think it's great. And I think it's Wagner. Again, of what I've seen, I think it's Wagner Moura's best performance. It's great.
Yeah, this is a pretty terrific movie. Okay, so that's Spoiler Piece Theater. Yay. Want to thank our sponsor piece patron, Heather Sachs. Heather, thank you so much.
Thanks, Heather.
Want to thank our editor, Otto Clamor. Otto, thank you for doing the editing work that I really don't want to do each week.
Thank you very much, Otto. You rock.
Yeah, you do. You can find Spoiler Piece Theater anywhere you get podcasts. Our website is spoilerpiece.com. On social media, we're Spoiler Piece Theater on Facebook, and we're at Spoiler Piece on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, and Blue Sky, and Threads. You can email us, spoilerpiece@gmail.com, if you'd like to get in touch with us and tell us what your favorite quiet movie of the year is, if not Rebuilding or something like that. And also, your thoughts on the weird surrealism of The Secret Agent that kind of comes out of nowhere. If you like the show, please rate and review us by going to ratethispodcast.com/spoilerpiece, or you can rate us directly on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That really helps us out. Every time you leave us a 5-star rating, we get a little bink in the, we get a boost, basically. And if you really, really like the show, please consider joining our Patreon. As we have mentioned many times, we talk about Kelly Reichardt's 2010 film Meek's Cutoff. That is over on patreon.com/spoilerpiece. And there you have it. My name is Dave Riedel. I write about movies, and I talk about them more than I write about them these days. I am on all your social medias except for Twitter as Dave Sees Movies, and I'm David M. Riedel on Blue Sky, and I'm a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association.
And my name is Megan Kearns. I write and podcast for In Session Film. I'm a co-host of the Slashers podcast, a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, and a member of Gallica. You can follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter at Opinion-S World or on Instagram and Letterboxd at The Opinion-S.
See you next week, peeps.
Bye.